Hey guys, welcome back to Eidolon. It has been, I played a little bit in the fall, but it has been since last summer that I really got down to play this game. Last summer, I guess. And I really got to play this nicely in the fall, in the summer. It's a game that came out, a private game. I'm going to continue where I left off. If you are just looking at this, I highly recommend going back and watching this from the first video to see what this game is about. I don't quite remember too much of the story, so we're going to do a quick refresher right now. And then I'm going to jump right in. We're going to just do probably a quick short episode here because I just wanted to play this for a little bit before I went to bed. This is kind of going to be, I think this series is going to take more into like an ASMR kind of ordeal. So I will be recording these late at night and hopefully not be talking too loud, not too many surprises. I think I need to turn these back up a little bit. There we go. So they had a couple of updates since then. They haven't done any updates since about November though, but all of the updates were bug fixes for getting stuck, for chunks broken, and I think they changed some more text and maybe added a few notes here and there, but nothing else I know about. So last summer I was here in the, good, we have all of our items. We have a compass. Ooh, the music. Oh, I miss this so much. I miss it so much. I don't know what it is about the atmosphere in this game. Just sitting here hearing this, the music, whoever made this music is fantastic. I literally have goosebumps right now. If you've watched these past episodes, you know how often I got goosebumps playing this game. Like I get chills, I get giddy, I get like, almost like, I don't know what it is, but the atmosphere in this game is just so well done. And being in the Pacific Northwest last summer, it was, it just felt very well. So we have our compass, fishing pole, bow and arrow, binoculars. Let's see, it was tab to open our book. We didn't quite know what this was yet. We didn't quite know the whole story. We had a lot left to go in this game. We didn't know what this was. Whoops. Go to sleep. Here's our book. So here's the one map page we have. I believe we had gone up to a town. We had followed the road, and I believe we had gotten near Bellevue, and I think it's starting to come into view as the fog breaks. We have a little bit of food left. We probably should work on a more substantial food source. Ah, here we go. Perfect. We'll read my diary, the notes that I left. Found some mushroom. Haven't tried to eat them yet. Also found a fishing rod. Caught some fish. Flashing lights in the distance. We'll investigate in the morning. The night sky was amazing, and the tinder burned nicely on day 2. The flashing lights in the distance were items. The green one was a hand-drawn map of the area, and the white and purplish one was a compass. With it, we found our bearings, and we're headed off, I guess. Day 3, followed the creek until it ended in the emerging meadow. Found a buck. After multiple shots, it did not run, and I landed a hit. I have meat to cook over the fire with my now cooked fish. Plenty of blackberry bushes as well, and rain began in the evening. On day 4, we traveled back to the lake to regain our lost items. Oh yes, that was when there was a bug in it that I reported and he fixed, where you were sometimes losing items, and that was since fixed, so we had to kind of restart a little bit. On day 5, we just started to travel south and went up to the highest peaks. It was snowing, and I froze. I do remember that. Day 6, we traveled to nearby lake shores in hopes of reaching the town on the map. And on day 7, after trying to go around the lakes, I had to swim across, almost froze. The town on the map is a bunch of empty, vine-covered, single-person huts. I know nothing of them, and there is nothing to be found in the tent I went into, using them as shelter tonight. On day 8, we found the heart of the old town and find some notes in the church. I then know that I think there was another day or two we basically traveled along the road, so I guess I can add those in. Traveled along the power lines and the road on the map until I found what I think is Bellevue. I found this in the late fall. Lots of abandoned cars and some more notes. We have 4 tools. Not sure what more there is. Exploring the town as the fog lifts this morning. Now, I don't know if it's actually been 10 days, but we're going to go ahead and use that as a good estimate here. So as far as the notes go, we noticed there was 2 time periods that kind of looked like the dates had almost started over, but there were some people still counting in the old town, the old places. We had Ada in the old town, something about old town, a bunch of Bible verses. I think we had kind of concluded that it looked like there was almost a second coming of Christ. There was the 0, there's like up to 2020, I think some of these. Yeah, Year of Our Lord, the YL is what that stood for, and it kind of started over, and it looked like it had been another couple years, but you can see that it goes into the late 2000s, so some people hadn't transferred over yet. I don't know if there was overlap or people that did a clear cut. Old Town was another one, MHC, I don't remember what that one was. Anders, there's a couple stories about a couple different people here. Yeah, you can see 2110. Yeah, here's Bellevue. So we're going to go explore Bellevue a little bit and see what other information we can come up with. Jamie in the fall. Senin Wild Girl Try, yeah. So let's go ahead and get our bearings. So I think the road was over the hill there, and this was the town we're going to come into. And go ahead and explore the town here. So it looks like the rain and fog has lifted, which is nice. Wow, it looks like these were skyscrapers that have fallen over. It's almost what it appears like it looks like. I have to kind of remember where we were on the map. I'm pretty sure just over that hill is the road, and we were kind of off the map and we're looking for a new one. Yeah, these are like fallen skyscrapers. Very interesting. There's a lake down there. So some of these episodes are going to be, a little exciting. Some of them will just be reading notes. Some of them will just be traveling and exploring, just like the other ones before them. But just sit back and enjoy the music and the sights and the scenes and the wonders of kind of the area here. All these bushes here. A bunch of fallen towers here. I can't really see anything in here. No, they've all fallen in there. Very interesting. Orb. Maybe this will shed some light, but it looks like a bunch of old fallen buildings, because remember, it's been a couple hundred years, I believe, since we've been before. Let's see what this orb is like. It's a green one, so it's a note of some sort. Ah, a page. The days are getting longer with each that passes, and it feels like we will never reach our destination. Do you even have that feeling? I don't know if you ever have a destination. If you do, I hope you get there soon. It's still exciting, though. We're right near the ruins of what used to be Seattle. There is so much history here, so much triumph, and in many ways, so much loss. Some people think this place is cursed. I don't believe that, but I can see why they think it. It's hard to believe people used to live here with the way it looks now. An immense pit of mud and plant life, water pooling at the bottom, the mining equipment is still there, rusty and slowly becoming consumed by the sinking earth. The houses, sheets, buildings, highways, cars, airplanes, all being retaken by nature. This place has hundreds of years on the other ruins, and it shows. The old expression, concrete jungle, really applies here. It has a haunting beauty. It would be love lies without the skeletons. Oh, it would be lovelier without the skeletons, but I suppose they add their own effect. Tree, yeah. Oh, on the back, I found a poem with no name on it. I can't tell if it's any good, but it seems to fit in with this place. A faded sign with a million eyes watches me pulling the rope attached to the neck of the little dog my favorite aunt left behind when she died. The muggy air catches in my throat, a waking fog that releases me from opacity. I gave up at the rusting skeletons of all the buildings in the world, the rusted I-beams dripping into the sweat of the past and the empty hope for the future. This is my legacy and my mission, that this world can be whole again. And so I could be whole within it. But the trees are long dead now, their carcasses strewn on brown lands and in brown forests. Medmosine cries for us, and by her tears we die, adding our skeletons to the forgotten trash of the earth. The eyes are watching me with rapid disregard, a growing frustration with my faults. I draw closer, let the rope drop from my hand, reach out to touch the grasping surface and see a mirror. Okay, so this appears to be the suburbs of Seattle, and I see another glimmer down there. Near the suburbs of where Seattle is. And this is basically just a mucky lake, that is what it is. This is kind of all left, and these are the skeletons of the buildings. And it did say that this had been 100 years, a couple hundred years more run down than a lot of other places. Which I think we had kind of found before, and we had realized that this is kind of started in the Pacific Northwest or the West Coast, and it took a while to travel, like whatever was happening, whatever disaster or whatever was going on to impact other places. So this is one of the first places to go, and as they say, it shows it's much older than, much more run down, and there's not much left compared to the other places. So we'll go get some food here. There's the birds and the trees. And we'll get that piece, and we'll probably camp out here tonight just to make sure we don't get attacked here. Now, I know we've died once, and that was being mauled by a bear. And I do know that we got close to dying a couple times from swimming, and then once when we were on top of that mountain in the snow. Oh, it's starting to rain for the night. Looks like we'll be able to camp out here though. So let's go ahead and grab this. Oh, ooh. Mega Thrust Earthquake Sinks Seattle by Lorenza Henner, staff reporter. Seattle citizens mourn in the wake of the October 19th Mega Thrust earthquake, which killed an estimated 750,000 Washington residents, 350,000 of whom lived in the greater Seattle area. The total death toll of the quake was 1.5 million, impacting cities and towns in every corner of the Pacific Northwest. In the aftermath of the tragedy, Blake Rivers from the Army Corps of Engineers doesn't think the metropolis will be able to recover. Too much damage has been done, half the city is underwater, the waterfront doesn't exist anymore, and probably half of the population is gone. His sentiments are echoed by Eileen, a spokesperson for the something nearby area. A Seattle resident, Emily Bornstein, not so lucky. I just remembered hearing a low rumble like a train was passing, and the ground started to shake, and I remembered what I'd been taught in school to crouch next to something tall and sturdy. Brownstein escaped with minor injuries. She says she's ready to say goodbye to home city. I've lost too much here. My home, my friends, they're gone. Montgomery reported similar feelings. Many concerned citizens, though, even more were hesitant to give easily. So many people have been in, telling us we can't just tell them to leave. They're right, we can't. Unfortunately for those Seattle elites that want to rebuild, no funding is coming from the state or federal government. We don't have the money to build a city from the ground up. In a statement to the press, a similar statement was made in a speech from the governor early Wednesday morning. One page there. Well, that is our very first glimpse at what's happened. So it looks like the great earthquake that was going to hit the Pacific Northwest, the megathrust earthquake, did in fact hit. And between the earthquake that toppled the buildings, this is like a realistic thing that this earthquake is going to hit at some point, and it's scheduled to be, at 9.0. It's going to be the biggest of the biggest, and it sends the tsunami wave in, and it does look like up the Columbia River Gorge, it has taken out and flooded and destroyed most of the city. And a more realistic thing, which is something that we almost thought was going to happen with Katrina, which was, we weren't sure if New Orleans was savable. Do we just abandon New Orleans, or do we put the funding into build it from the ground up? And obviously the damage in New Orleans was great after Katrina, but it was not as bad as we thought it was. So we were able to recover. But if something like this were to happen to a major city such as Seattle, which is huge, I guess actually Portland, I'm thinking of Portland, which is the Columbia River Gorge farther north up there in Seattle. I can't imagine you couldn't rebuild. You would have to live. And 1.5 million people is just a tremendous death toll. And something that's just like, you just have to almost abandon the entire area. So building on the theories we have so far, seems like this is one of the first big disasters to hit, which is this megathrust earthquake. Now, given this whole Year of the Lord thing and religious stuff we've hit so far, it starts to make me think if there has been a series of natural disasters that people have linked to God and the second coming of Christ, and is what caused all this stuff to happen. And this just happened to be one of the first ones. So something to think about. But it is getting dark, and I do need to sleep, so I think we are going to go ahead and do that. The old urge, based on the ancient pinnacles, low, newer, higher pinnacles, from science and the modern still impelled, the old urge make lots. Alright, pretty hungry once again. We'll eat some more blackberries. We're going to need more food. We might have to fish for a little bit. Let the fog burn off. We need to find a new map. So we started somewhere over here, and we marched down past all the lakes. We went up in the mountains. I came around all these different areas here. Found the town over here, which I think is labeling as Olympia. We found the church and all the buildings around. It looked like the new settlement here. We went up, we found the power lines, and I followed the power lines across this. And then somewhere over here where we got to the meadow, I crossed over and hit the road. There was the ocean here. And we followed this road up north. And then when I got off to a certain point of the road, I saw buildings in the distance and I cut over. And that's where we are now. So we need to find a new map somewhere. Well, I do not see any stuff in the distance. Okay, the water is still absolutely freezing here. This is actual water still. So I think it's in our interest to explore this area and see if we can find any more notes. But I am tired, and I have my girlfriend's graduation tomorrow, so I've got a full day tomorrow. So I think I'm going to cut this episode out. We shall return later, as I love the atmosphere of this. We'll let the fog clear and explore this for hopefully some maps and some more notes into what has gone on, because this is definitely pretty neat. So let's go ahead and put out our fire. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later. See ya. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. If you'd like to check out another Let's Play I did, check out my Super Mario World Let's Play for the Super Nintendo by clicking here in the top left. If you'd like to check out my Minecraft server Avius, click here in the top right. You can follow me on Twitter, and if you like what you've seen so far and you have yet to subscribe, click the big banner below.